Simon, thanks very much for joining us. Let's start with the decision by the European Central Bank to keep rates on hold at that record low of 1%. No surprise to the market, but they've also promised additional cash to keep the Eurozone flush, at least until the rest of the year. It looks as though the euro is gaining momentum on the back of that move. We're now at just above that 121 level on the euro dollar. A rebound across markets today on the back of the Chinese export number. Is this time to get excited? Are we back on track?
Evening, Bronwyn. To answer the last bit first, are we back on track? Certainly 2 good days in a row, which is something we haven't seen for a while. The big question, and it's early to tell yet, are the bears merely resting, or have they gone into hibernation or disappeared entirely? And I'm not 100% sure. There's a lot of stuff that suggests maybe, certainly from technical levels, indices had got down to those levels of support. On the All Share locally, it was about 26, 26.5. Those levels held. But there's a lot more out there. The China number, for example, showed exports really doing very well, almost back at those mid-2008 peak levels, and that exports tells us that the global economy is obviously buying their products. Things are happening out there. The problem is their imports weren't so strong, which says China's growth is potentially going to slow. And when China slows, it might slow to 8%. It's not completely crazy. Looking at the European picture, certainly that keeping the money in the market, it's always been the question, when will interest rates go up? When will we start to see the cash coming out of the market? And that's always been worrying people. And a fairly clear indication today that not this year, which gives us at least another 6 months. And then the other little bit of icing on top there was looking at the growth from 0.8 to 1%, not terribly thrilling, but moving in that right direction. So a lot of good news out there.
Looking at the stocks today, African Rainbow Minerals is at the top of the top 40. We're up over 6%. BHP Billiton, a big winner on the day, up over 4% at 212 Rand. Do you think you've missed the buying opportunity on BHP Billiton? Anglo American also up almost 4% today at 295 Rand 42 the close. Or do you think, as you said earlier, that perhaps the bears are just taking a breather?
Look, if the easy, the easy money, and let's be honest, the brave money was a week or so ago, Monday, maybe Friday last week, and you've done spectacularly well. And as a trader, you would be absolutely grinning. In fact, you'd probably be taking your profits and planning for your trip to Soccer City for the football. The question is, are these giving good value if you're looking forward 3 to 5 years? And I think the answer remains yes. At these price points, I don't think they're expensive. I think they're saying we've got some value there, and what may happen in the next couple of weeks and months, they might go a little bit cheaper. There's no discounting that, but we need to take that longer view, and I think certainly we've expected the recovery to be fragile. We've absolutely experienced that in the last 4-6 weeks, but I don't think the wheels certainly haven't come off.
I'm just pulling up this number out of China again, and imports were up 48.3%, but you said that still disappointed the market on the import side.
It disappointed in that they were certainly the chaps I was speaking to, the reports I saw were looking for better. A lot of the import also was not in the areas. They were, especially the commodities and the like, weren't as strong. Now again, we look at that number and we think it's astounding, but Chinese numbers constantly, we can't bring them back to what we expect. And folks I was chatting to saying, yeah, not bad, but not as good as they had hoped.
Naspers at the bottom of the top 40 today. We're down 4%. There's been much debate around Naspers and whether this is a stock that you certainly need to accumulate longer term for your portfolio, irrespective of the price you pay for it. At 269 Rand 20, if we're back 4%, potentially this is one that could be a buying opportunity, or do you want to see this one come back quite extensively before you advocate a buy?
Look, Bronwyn, at 270, Naspers is very attractive. But here's the concern. Tencent, which is their holding, the Chinese internet company, which they have a majority stake in, it's been under massive pressure. It's lost over 20% this week. It lost 7 or 8% just today, trading today. And I was doing some digging and trying to find what's behind the Tencent. And beyond a single downgrade that came through on Monday, and that downgrade was only from a buy to a neutral, so it wasn't even down to a sell level. Beyond that, I couldn't find anything anything which was pushing Tencent down, and that certainly was pushing Naspers down. So the caution in me says, hang on, there's something here and I'm not quite sure what it is. If we start to see Tencent move again at these prices, at below 300, I think Naspers is attractive. At below 280, very attractive. It's just that Tencent story, and I can't find a reason, and I hate not knowing. That always makes me a little bit nervous.
MTN notified yesterday that they were walking away from the Orascom deal. We're up 3.5% today on MTN at just under 105 Rand. The fact that they're walking away from the deal, has that got anything to do with the positive move on the share price?
I think maybe a little bit. Certainly the stock has been heavily sold off down below 100. We've been saying that at around that 100 level, MTN is certainly very, very attractive. I think there's two sides to all deals. In the one sense, I think it looked like a great deal if it could have gone through. There were seemingly a lot of complications, regulations, first rights, and all sorts of things to get in the way. The flip side is the market often worries that companies overpay for assets. But at the end of the day, there's two ways you grow. One is organic, one is via acquisition. And if you go in the acquisition route, you're going to pay top dollar for top assets. The market might be saying, you know what, not such a bad idea. Personally, I would have liked to have seen the deal gone through.